why do I think it's really important that we get better communication with the coalition is it's kind of twofold, but obviously we talk on the YouTube channel all the time that this is kind of like our last chance at making an impact when it comes to the Gears of War scene with the upcoming Gears of War title, that being Gears 6, Gears of War Collection, whatever we want to talk about. This, in my mind, is our last real chance at making this thing a sustainable ordeal. And I'm totally okay with the coalition taking their time. I really am. Even though I've talked on the YouTube channel multiple times, but more recently stating that I was wrong about the Gears 6 and Gears of War Collection timeline. Maybe I may not be wrong about the Gears 6 timeline. I said, it's probably going to come out in 2024 or 2025. I will say this, though, that the Gears of War Collection, it does not seem is going to be coming out here in 2022, which is obviously a very unfortunate thing, and it definitely bothers me that it's, not going to come out. But on the flip side of that, look, I get that, the coalition seems to be working on some things behind the scenes, and I'm totally on board with this. I really am. I'm very much so on board with them taking their time. I really am, guys. Now, one of the things that, is important, also is that our communication with the coalition, I think it needs to be better. I mean, I think the coalition, obviously they're kind of working in a lot of secrecy. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that we don't really know what's going on exactly. But I don't necessarily think that it's like an awful thing that we don't know, what's going on, because I think there needs to be a level of excitement and a level of hype, even though I think the coalition could do a better job at like telling us little things like, that they're still there, that they're still working on things. I think our communication with them needs to get better, because I think that we really hurt the relationship between the community and the coalition with Gears 5, especially with the level of backlash, with the level of issues that were kind of brought up over the course of time. I think we need to be better as a community moving forward when it comes to the communication element of this thing with the coalition. I want to go over this tweet that came out from Dana Sissons. He goes, I told y'all I told y'all years ago it wasn't happening. And this is interesting because, what he's referring to is he said years ago that the Gears of War Collection was not happening. And there was a guy, Paul Livo, who tweeted at him with a GIF, and it's, a rest in peace type of ordeal for the Gears community. And he tweeted out, which was interesting. He tweeted back, though, after this Paul had tweeted at him, he had responded saying, taking their time and doing it right. And that is huge, because I think Dana's certainly has got connections over there still, over at the coalition. And I think what's important here is that he's saying that they're taking their time, they're doing this thing right. And I think that really speaks volumes, because as of late, it's felt like, whether we're talking from the Gears perspective, whether we're talking from the coalition's perspective, or when we're talking like Halo, and what's going on over there with the 343 Industries, it feels like there's a lot of the same pains that the Halo community has had over the course of time, the Gears community is having at this point. And I think that what it comes down to is that you just got to take your time. I think you've got to take your time in regard to any title out there. A AAA title, you got to take your time. And if there's something along the way that isn't right or that isn't being done well, you've got to take your time. Because I think the Coalition, what's really important for them is this next game, like I said and alluded to earlier, this next game is like our last chance, in my personal opinion, to get Gears to a point where it can be sustainable over the long duration of time. If it doesn't go well, I'm very concerned about Gears of War moving forward. So I'm going to do my part and try to, whether it's creating content, streaming, things of that nature, to try to put, a level of content out there for everyone. But I think we as a community, there has to be more people creating content, more people streaming on Twitch. And all it takes, guys, is one person at a time, and it becomes infectious, as you're starting to see more and more content, as you're starting to see more and more people stream, it definitely helps the title. And so I think that even though we didn't get an announcement, I think the communication levels between us and the Coalition have got to get better if we want to see this thing succeed over the long term. That's just what my thoughts are, but Dana saying that they're taking their time and doing it right really gets me excited, because I think that if we get, let's just say in 2023, an announcement of the Gears of War collection as well as Gears 6, and the Gears of War collection comes out later in 2023, and then in 2024 or 2025, you get Gears 6, it would make a lot of sense. Because if you look at the trajectory of when we got, let's just say, for example, when, the Ultimate Edition comes out, you get Gears of War 4, and then Gears 5, came out like shortly out, a couple years after that. You think of Halo, you had the Halo Master Chief Collection, then Halo 5 came out the following year. So it makes sense for the Gears of War collection to come out like next year, and then 2024, 2025, you would get Gears 6. But I'm all for the Coalition taking their time. This gives us an opportunity to continue creating content around this game, excitement and buzz around this game before it even gets announced. And then when it does, guys, that's when we're going to be off to the races, and it's going to be all hands on deck to make sure that this thing is a sustainable title moving forward. But let me know what you guys think. Our levels of communication, and with Dana saying that the Coalition's taking their time and doing it right, what do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comment section down below, and let's have a real conversation about it.